Alright, it's been a minute, but I finally found time to stream again. A lot of things came up, but immediately following the last stream, I went and did all the side content that I could, which is most of it. I didn't grind for any of the stuff, so there's a couple of little odds and ends like this, but the thing that came of this is that I am very, very strong now. Maybe too strong. It might ruin things to do everything. Either way, I did leave this one. Wait, the reward is double what I just gave? That's very Fable-esque, honestly. Neat. Oh, I was not expecting that many things to be added. Anyways, I almost forgot. I discovered something really important right after. This! Look at this! I have to 100% this game. Look at that. Look at that reward. Look at that perfect reward. I can't believe it. Anyways, 3 trials. Every single thing is going to be one step closer to that outfit, so... good. Alright, Fairy Fountain missions. I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to start blowing through content now, though, because Link is level 46. I think he's supposed to be like 20-something at this point, but that's how things go. Somehow I still haven't managed to pick up any other spoilers about this game, so that's good. Though in the same way, since it's been about a week since the last stream, I forget a lot. I'm not sure exactly what I did off stream, so that'll be interesting. Hello, Onyx. Yeah, Shenong won. It's a good night. He deserves it. It's a great character design, honestly. Like, I actually, I reworked one of the characters that I've designed for my game, specifically to look a bit more like Shenong. Alright, just gotta remember the basics. This is absolutely my favorite style. I'm so glad that I was able to find out, thanks to Onyx actually, so thank you, about the gimmick. I would have figured it out eventually with the tutorial, but I'm glad I figured it out right away because this style just feels great. Oh yeah, so a lot of the characters have been pretty heavily upgraded since the last stream. Most of the characters now have a second special gauge, so they can do 2 screen nukes now instead of just the 1, so that's good. You can stream it and go and sick Husama reference? Nice. You'll be the only one who knows, probably. Real talk, it is a kind of a nice, unique feeling when there's a character or even just a design that you enjoy that doesn't really seem to be picking up with other people, and then suddenly they get a big spike in popularity. Doesn't happen all the time. Zelda might be the lowest level one. Whenever a character is the lowest level, I'd set them as the partner for Link whenever I was doing the higher level content. So, I'm not sure who's lowest level right now. I think they should make a vector detective game. Like, Sonic spin-offs are a very untapped type of game. Because, like, it's very clear, it's been clear for like 20 years at this point, that the people that work on Sonic games really want to make something besides a Sonic game. And the most they generally get to do is they get to tape something that people are going to hate onto a Sonic game. So you get like Guns and Shadow or whatever, Fishing with Big, like stuff that they clearly are passionate about doing, and it's not going to be appreciated by people going and looking for a super speedy loop-de-loop game. So yeah, they should definitely try stuff like that. I think, like obviously, a Vector the Crocodile detective spin-off game isn't going to do gangbusters, but I don't think people would be too averse to it either. People are definitely getting into the point where they're more okay with sincerely enjoying Sonic characters again, now that the Sonic cycle as an image is kind of dead. So yeah, the SSD, it should in theory make Sonic games really cool, because loading is the ultimate bottleneck for a speed-based game. Like, any game where you go fast, even if it's not about going fast like a Sonic game is, you always run into a problem where there are ways to play the game which cause parts of the level to not load in. So super speedy loading is a huge deal. However, there is an important thing that may serve as a new bottleneck. That's that factoid that Sega likes to bring up, which is that Sonic games do better on Nintendo systems. And at this point, Nintendo systems are 2 generations behind. So that might be a problem. That might be a really bad bottleneck on Sonic for generations. The Sonic cycle has never been alive, really. It's just that, like, now it's fallen out of popularity by people who don't even like Sonic. They don't even bring it up anymore. They do stuff like, did you know that Sonic Forces is the worst game since Sonic 06, except even worse? No, stop freezing me. Oh, jeez. During this pre-stream, I was listening to some of the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity music, and I noticed that Suga's theme, as far as I can tell, well, I mean, obviously it's pretty easy to tell, but it seems like Suga's theme is a MIDI. It's kind of bizarre. Like, it sounds like a slightly higher quality version of the songs from Twilight Princess. Not the song, sorry, the synthetic instruments. And I don't, like, obviously I guess it makes sense that they wouldn't have an orchestra to perform this random spin-offs music, but man, they're not as behind as Dragon Quest, but whoa, okay, I was not expecting this. I was not expecting to fight a great fairy in their big Deku Leaf type thing. A Sonic rumor that you're going to ignore unless it happens. No, I haven't heard any Sonic rumors lately. What's going on? Owned. So I guess this might be a good stage to start grinding some rupees, because I'm surprised how fast you can go through when you upgrade equipment and stuff. Oh, and actually, speaking of things that I don't remember if they happened on stream or not, I did get a tooltip about Mifa, and it turns out it's not just her special attack that can heal. A lot of her moves can actually. All of those things that generate like little, whatever they're called, those things of water that she can jump out of, those all can heal allies according to the tooltips. So that's like her whole entire thing is healing, it seems, which is weird for a Musou game, in my opinion. So there's a rumor that there's going to be collections of the 2D and 3D Sonic games and the announcement of the next game because tomorrow is Sonic Week. That doesn't sound too outlandish, and it would make sense actually because I've said this a bunch of times at this point, but it is bizarre just how hard they have avoided porting anything this last generation. Like, even if they don't want to port Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, because those ports are pretty bad anyways, not porting Generations and making a 60 FPS version, although actually, apparently the Xbox One/Series S version has a 60 FPS patch. But anyways, not making like a regular just HD re-release of Sonic Generations when it already runs perfectly fine on PC is so like, that is just leaving money on the table. It's so bizarre. Alright, so this when you're robbing bandits of their money. That makes sense. Oh yeah, so that's cute. They drop more money and you can gather it up for the mission. That's neat. A little bit of variety for once. I mean, it's not actually meaningfully different. It's basically just treating the enemies as multiple enemies that add to a score, but, you know, sometimes that's all it takes. It's all, game design is like 70% psychology. Oh, so this person who's leaking this has leaked stuff before that. So yeah, it's not a very outlandish leak. So I could see it happening. It's been a very long time since they were supposed to announce a new Sonic game. So yeah, it makes sense to do it for Sonic Week. The real question is, has enough time passed that they can rework this game to be more like the Sonic movie because it was successful? And that's all that Sega is able to understand when they see data. Oh yeah, no, the collection will be better than the Mario one just by default. Like, it doesn't matter if they literally made a collection of the worst Sonic games. Like, they re-released Sonic and the Secret Rings now with Joy-Con controls. Like, that doesn't matter. It's very easy to make a collection that's better than what Nintendo offers. Like, the value proposition, like, for one thing, unless it's a big collection, Sega wouldn't charge full price for it. Even, like, I could see them letting you, being like, oh, we ported all the Sonic Advance games, Sonic Rush and all that somehow. We just ported all those games, yeah, like 30 bucks, 40 bucks. Like, Sega gives their stuff away for a lot less than Nintendo. And, you know, people like to say like, oh yeah, because Sonic's worse, but yeah, you know, being able to afford games is nice. Secret Rings of Joy-Con support will bump it up to a 4? I don't know about that. There's some goofy ass music playing in the background here. It kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy 12. Geez, I'm not raking in money actually. No, no, no. Onyx, you misunderstand. I know when I say Joy-Con support, I don't mean controller support. I mean Joy-Con motion control support. Then it's back to a 1. Well, that's the thing. Joy-Cons aren't as accurate as Wii remotes, so if anything, it should be going down to a 0, or at least a 0.5, if you don't go down that far. There we go. These things are usually full of money. If the collection comes to Switch, then the Unleash won't be there. That's honestly, yeah, pretty likely, but the Switch is more powerful than the PS3 or 360. So even if it can't run it like at 60 FPS or something, it could still reasonably run the game better than it did on the actual original console. Like, I could see it running at a stable 30, maybe, if they optimize it properly. Or, you know, the leak says that it's a 2D and 3D collection. Watch the 3D collection come to PS4 and Xbox One, and then the Switch gets the 2D collection. Xbox One can't run it perfectly, but that is just it running via back compat. Whereas if they actually made a collection, they could probably optimize it a bit better, because it's just generic back compat for any Xbox game. So in theory, like if they specifically made something to recreate like 360 era Microsoft games, so Sega games, then they could probably optimize it more specifically to whatever they need. Yeah, this rupee grinding is almost as slow as rupee grinding in the actual Breath of the Wild. This is gonna be a weird pull, but this music actually kind of reminds me of the music that plays in any Simpsons media that is not the actual Simpsons TV show. Because like whenever it's in like Lego Dimensions or any other kind of game really, they have this very like bouncy cartoon music that doesn't really happen in the actual show. That's kind of the energy this had. Well, Simpsons the video game actually has immaculate music for some reason. Like, it's all orchestral. It's very strange. Yeah, I really, if there is a 2D collection, I hope it has the advanced games at least. I could see porting the Rush games being a problem because of the dual screen stuff. But the other thing is that the advanced games are stuck with that legal trouble where THQ published them in the West. So, that's a problem. Yeah, like, and then, you know, there's also that dark possibility of them porting, like, the Game Gear games, which, you know, the Game Gear games deserve respect. They should have been in Generations, but they're not very worth it. Man, that smoke cloud does its job. I really can't see the attacks coming. Man, are there exactly 600 rupees or something? Like, man. Hopefully this is enough. No, maybe not. Man! Yeah, Tails Adventure. I mean, that was the one I played the most. I had the, I used to have Sonic Adventure DX for the GameCube, but I also had the Sonic Gems collection. And so I played quite a bit of Tails Adventure. I wasn't very good at it. I didn't understand Metroidvanias as a concept, but like, yeah, that was probably the best. I also liked Sonic Triple Trouble, honestly. Like it, you know, the Game Gear games aren't devoid of value, but like, they're in total probably worth a couple dollars, maybe. Like, so I guess, yeah, throw them in if you got some other heavy hitters in there. Like, you know, if you do port the advanced games and then also have the Game Gear games, then sure, whatever, but they're not much value on their own. I could see the 3D collection having Heroes. I doubt they'd have Shadow. Heroes is considered like a very major part of the Sonic franchise for one reason or another, but Shadow I think is one of those games that Sega wants to ignore. Am I gonna fight you, or... There we go. Yeah, they should embrace that stuff, because yeah, it does unironically sell. Like, you know, people like to pretend that Shadow the Hedgehog did all this damage to the franchise, but it didn't. People love Shadow. That edginess is like something that is a sincere part of a lot of people's identity. So, like, them moving away from it, it clearly didn't help them any. Sonic games sell worse now than they ever did. And like, it's been a pretty steady decline too. Like, I think Sonic Colors did pretty well. Like, obviously Generations is the anniversary game. It did big numbers, but overall, like, now it's like if a Sonic game sells 1 million or so, it's like, wow, good. But it used to be higher. It used to be a competitor. Heroes didn't introduce Vector. What are you, a fake Sonic fan? Or reintroduce, sorry. I just saw the introduced part because it was split into 2 segments on your message. And it was a good reintroduction too. Like, the old Vector design, I'm not a huge fan, honestly. Like, Sonic designs in general are very good. Like, pretty much any character that stuck around because they had a, like, at least 9 out of 10 design. Old Vector, I don't think, is amazing. Alright, hey, wait. Isn't there one more? Where is it? What happened? Well, I'll just do this. There we go. What if the next Sonic game is a fighting game? Well, I mean, yeah, make Sonic Battle 2, but with more buttons. I think, actually, I really like the gimmick of Sonic Battle where you have your different attacks that you set to the different things at the start of the battle. Like you have 3 slots, and then depending on which slot you put it in, you get a different attack. I think that's a really neat idea. And then like I never actually played battle in multiplayer, but I assume the idea would be you don't know what your opponent's moveset is necessarily. So it suits the very fast-paced battles that they have, where it's like things change up pretty regularly because your health goes down like that, especially with certain characters. All right, last fairy. You know, I have a sneaking suspicion, just a hint of an idea that you may be unlocking a character from doing these, because I can't see them making this giant boss fight against these random fairies as opposed to making it just a reskin playable character. That is just how these things work out, unfortunately. That, and someone did say something about getting a secret character at this point, and yeah. Though if I recall correctly, they said secret characters, plural, so I still have no idea who the other one would be. God, Emerald is actually like one of the coolest things I've ever seen in any game ever. Like, have you ever seen the sprite sheet for Emerald? He has every single animation for every single character in the game because you can use every single move, including their run cycle, by equipping those cards. It's insane. Like, that is... Obviously, it's a super busted idea for a fighting game, but on the other hand, who cares? Like, on a super casual level, the idea of, like, here, you and your 8-year-old friend, you just decided to make your own emerald. This one has Amy's hammer and Shadow's speed, or something like that. Like, it's just, on such a casual level, it's such a fun idea. I had this idea actually a long time ago when I wanted to make a Kingdom Hearts fan game. The idea of having the character who functions like Emerald, where they can equip different abilities from different characters. And I wish I could find some way to use that idea again, because the fact that, as far as I know, it's only been Sonic Battle that did that is like a huge miss, I think. Yeah, no, Xion would be perfect for an Emerald type character. Like, if you could make it so that she can, like, even like make it so she can refight old battles or something and get a key ability from that or something, that would be rad. It's such a fundamentally cool idea. And like, I don't care if it's balanced. Like, I was thinking about the other day how a lot of people consider Dissidia a bad fighting game because it's very poorly balanced. And then Dissidia NT tried to fix that. It's a much more balanced and thus boring game. And like, yeah, no, like if a fighting game has to be unplayably broken to be fun, I don't care. I'll take that. That sounds like a good time to me. Xion and General crossover team, that sounds great. Hello, Twindle. My day went pretty good. Just got some work done, honestly. Nothing too super exciting. Hello, Kentrix. I totally agree. Xion has immense potential as a playable character, like, especially because I tweeted about this, but I've been reading the Kingdom Hearts novels very slowly, and something that they clarify is exactly how Xion's power works, and like, it's not exactly that she absorbs power or anything like that. Like, that is what she's doing, but specifically the novel says that she gets her abilities by fighting. So she fights someone. She doesn't have to win. She just has to fight them. So it's a blue mage type situation where if she takes an attack, she can use that attack in theory. And like, that has so much potential. Oh yeah, so something I've discovered about this specific style with Link, his fourth special move where he jumps in the air is fantastic for boss fights because a lot of them have a weak spot that's in the air that if you can hit it, then it triggers the weak spot gauge without having to actually have them like stumble or something like that. So like the Hinoxes and the Stone Taluses, if you hit their eye or their rock respectively, with that move, you can trigger their weak spot way faster, which is cool. It's a really great style. I love this. I love heavy weapons on Link. Xion should be a gun mage. I mean, it could work. It's definitely out of like there are multiple Keyblade guns in Kingdom Hearts 3, and Xion really needs her own weapon too. She can't just have Kingdom Key forever. Xion could work like Kirby and Smash. I mean, ideally you should do more than just inhale someone and get their B move. Like, something I would really love to see is like, kind of like how abilities work in normal Kingdom Hearts games. You have an ability menu, but then it's like, do you want to equip Sora's version of Sliding Dash? Do you want whatever it is Riku's equivalent of Sliding Dash is? Like, I want stuff like that. And like, obviously at some point it had to be like mutually exclusive abilities, but still, just the basic idea of like, because there are so many established abilities in Kingdom Hearts at this point, because there have been so many different playable characters. And then if you start adding enemy abilities too, that would be such a fun thing, because you rarely get that experience. Like 358 Days is super neat in the multiplayer mode. Even though the multiplayer mode is not good, the novelty of getting to see different movesets with Organization 13 are super cool. Oh yeah, the fairies weren't voiced originally, were they? So that's new. It's weird how many characters are getting voiced for the first time in this spin-off game. Xion should dual wield those Keyblades from her final boss. Yeah, I mean, I think those Keyblades are a little bit ugly, honestly, but then the idea is strong. I think that they could get a different color scheme and they'd end up looking really great with her. Because the thing is that they're bright orange, so they don't go great with her current thing where she has like a black dress with white accents. But if you take that design and add, like maybe give it like a black and red motif, that could look really good. Oh yeah, I do a lot more damage because I am devastatingly overleveled. Link is level, well, 49 now. Like, doing the side content may have been a mistake. I'm not sure how much I'll do between the next stream. I mean, I'm assuming that I have lots of the game left. I believe I'm near the end of chapter 4, and there are 7 chapters, so who knows. Oh yeah, to go with the second part of your message, yeah. Her using her final boss form in some form, like you mentioned, using it as like a stand. Anything though, I think using those designs again would be great because it's something that should have been like I love the Remind fight with Xion. It's a really cool fight where it's just a 1v1 Keyblade wielder match. But I really, really would have loved to see her boss fight forms, especially because they got left out of the movie, the 358 Days movie. Burning. Cause yeah, like I think that those forms are some of the most underrated boss fights. Well, not in terms of quality, but just in terms of concept in the franchise. Because they all use different memories that Sora has, but not like the obvious stuff either. It's like, here's a boss fight referencing Kurt Zisa. Sorry. Onyx, I don't think I saw your Zavok tweet. Sorry, got a scratchy throat. Might have to get some water after this, depending what happens. And the flurry rush timing where you do the perfect dodge isn't super lenient, but I've really lost it in this week that I've gone without playing. Oh, I did see your thing about Zavok and how he has a real mouth and he isn't just an underbite. Yeah, no, that's horrifying. It's great. That's information that no one should have ever known. Her fight in Remind is Roxas 2, but that's fine because Roxas is one of the best fights in Kingdom Hearts 2. Jeez, this is a strict time limit. I'm glad I'm over leveled. There we go. You feel sad because you're the only person who thinks that Zavok looks cute, Onyx? Well, that's your cross to bear. Man, this time limit. It's cruel. Yeah, I got fire, right? Good. Luckily, these special moves freeze the timer. Like, it's actually very handy for managing these timer-based missions. Oh no, it's just generic? Okay, no, never mind. Okay. For a second I didn't see that there was treasure chests on the map. Oh no, those are enemies. Man! This is a cruel mission. Okay, luckily I saved these special attacks. Ian Flynn made Zavok a character? That's not a surprise. He made a lot of characters into characters in his tenure as a Sonic writer. And like, really, Lost World had like a vague premise of an idea for a character for each of the Deadly Six. It's just that the writers for that, like the writers for Sonic in this day and age aren't that great. And that's the fact of it. This has become a Sonic / Kingdom Hearts podcast while I smash away at thousands of enemies. Oh, speaking of which, since I have more people watching now, I started off by talking about how there is this absolutely amazing 100% reward that you can see on the world map that has condemned me to having to 100% a Muso game. It's very unfortunate. Oh, Jesus. Please, God. Oh, man. Ian Flynn, well, Ian, you say Ian Flynn can't save Shadow because of Sega. I would go as far as to say that within the limitations he clearly has on him, he has done as much as he could. Like, he still has to be like the aggressive Vegeta type anti-hero, but I've seen, like, unfortunately I haven't kept up with the comics at all, but I've seen panels of him, like, clearly kind of regretting how he acts. And I think that's like the best you can possibly do to reconcile the different versions of the character. Oh geez, going right into it, huh? Alright. That sure was an attack, I guess. So, like, I get the point of getting in the air. Your air moves in this game are generally very, very, very good. But I don't get the point of the paraglider specifically because your moves track so hard, it's generally better to just do that. Yeah, that does sound interesting, Onyx. I mean, I never really felt like the Deadly Six have enough potential to stick around like they have, but it's good to know that he's doing what he can with what's available. Yeah, the monthly release is an unfortunate aspect of comics in general, honestly, where you have to wait around for such, like, stories can go on for such a long time because comics aren't that long, and then you only get 12 a year, basically. It's not ideal. Oh yeah, I don't think I showed this, but you have the ability to use Octo Polish on rusty weapons now. You get some really good stuff, actually. So there's that, at least, I guess. $29. Jeez, I gotta get rid of a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, actually, I did forget to mention I've gotten a lot more Korok seeds. I went back to the early missions and got every single one, and then I realized I was getting very, very over leveled and I stopped. I agree, Onyx. Making good use of whatever mandates you have that you have to make do with, being able to make something good despite that is a sign of a very good writer. Like, it's easy to make something that's at least okay if you're if it's completely on your own terms, but being able to, like, for example, Star Wars with the Clone Wars animated series works entirely with prequel lore, and a lot of that stuff, the thing itself is bad. Like, the prequels are bad movies that are badly told, but the Clone Wars shows there's lots of perfectly good ideas that a more talented writer can make use of. So you end up with probably like some of the best stuff in the entire franchise. Like, I'd actually, Ian Flynn and David Filoni, I think, are very similar in that way, where they're good at making use of bad ideas, for lack of a better word. Anyways, yeah, got a character. Neat. Time to pump them up with lots and lots of stats, I guess.
I could get used to this.
So they're level 25, and I wonder if that's just how they default to, or if it's an average of your levels, and my average is 25 because everyone else is at like level 25, but Link is like 40 something, 50-ish. Oh yeah, resources, those are a thing. Well, clear up as much of the map as I can, but grinding is not good for stream, and I don't want to get even stronger. Yeah, like what's this? I bet it's the training mission. Yeah, Great Fairy Training, you know, that's how it be.
It's overflowing.
One man's trash is another man's treasure? Yeah, to some extent, but also just, I respect making use of what you're given. I hate it when you there's something that's acceptably bad as part of your franchise or your story or your character or whatever, and your solution is to just either ignore it or make fun of it. Like, I think it's so much cooler and so much more creative when you have something that something that people thought couldn't be salvaged or wasn't worth salvaging, and you make something cool out of it. Like, that's something that I respect so much more. Like, that's why, like, for example, in the new Star Wars stuff, in episode 7, for example, they have a one-off line where they make fun of the idea of having a clone army. But within that part of the story, their army is made up of exclusively of child soldiers that they steal from planets and then raise up to be adult stormtroopers. And like, there's no reason in universe why that would be a more cost-effective or more useful or better solution than an army of clones. Like, it's just, I don't like lampshading, to use a TV tropes term. Anyways, do I use the new character to destroy the Yiga clan? I love that mission name, by the way. Yeah, let's get them locked in for anyone. So yeah, time to break out the Great Fairy, I guess.